You arrive at the pet store to pick up the golden retriever you wanted since you were a child. From falling in love to your best friend's golden retriever to keeping your aunt's while she's on vacation for many years, you've been waiting your entire life for this moment. When you walk into the pet store, you see a group of people crowded around a lady and her new German Shepherd puppy. In the crowd stands a man holding a golden retriever, but he's as stunned as everyone else at the beauty of the German Shepherd. After spending a few minutes adoring the lady's new puppy, you go on to find the golden retriever that you came to get. Sitting in the cage with this puppy is a German Shepherd identical to the one that grabbed everyone's attention at the front of the store. With the jealousy of the lady fresh on your mind, you ask the pet store employee to see the German Shepherd puppy instead of the golden retriever. Multiple people come by and brag about the puppy as you're playing with him in the play area, and you become overwhelmed by the attention the German Shepherd puppy brings your way. Because of this, you disregard the entire decade that led you to the pet store to buy the golden retriever and spend the money you saved on the German Shepherd. 2 weeks go by and the admiration you're receiving because of this puppy dies down. Now all you're left with is a puppy that is pooping all over your house and chewing up anything he can get his teeth on. Not only that, but you're also left with a deep feeling of remorse. You know intuitively that you have made a mistake as you slowly arrive right back to where you started in wanting a golden retriever puppy. Our deepest hopes and desires come from our unique experience as individuals. Far too often we make the mistake of letting temporary admiration from others distract us from pursuing these desires and filling the holes they've created within us. For example, it would be a stretch to say that you weren't looking forward to all the compliments on your new puppy when you went to get the golden retriever. That's a great part of the experience, and everyone looks forward to it. But in your case, it was far from the main reason you wanted the golden retriever. Your desire for this puppy was birthed throughout your childhood. You built a connection with your aunt's dog, but could never keep her for yourself. Your best friend's retriever likes you more than he likes your friend, but your parents would never let you have a dog. Now that you'd finally saved up enough money since moving out of your parents' house, it was time for you to fill those holes with that puppy. Instead, you were distracted by the comparison to someone else's experience. As you walked into the pet store and saw the German Shepherd puppy getting all the love, it drastically affected your short-term decision-making. Little did you know at the time, the new German Shepherd owner had spent her entire childhood longing for a German Shepherd puppy just as you had the golden retriever. So although her experience of the German Shepherd is fulfilling, yours isn't. Scenarios like this affect us much more than we realize. We sometimes make the mistake of defining our success and happiness by comparing it to the success and happiness of someone else, and this is an empty pursuit. Since we each have a unique, subjective experience of the world we live in, we each have unique and subjective definitions of success and happiness as well. We can be happy compared to everyone around us, but what if everyone around is miserable? Does that really make us happy? You are filthy rich with $40,000 compared to a homeless man, but compared to Jeff Bezos, that same $40,000 makes you next to broke. We are no more successful or happy than we deem ourselves to be. Have you ever noticed what seems to be a travel theme come across your social media feed every year? Whether it's San Francisco, California, or Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Every year, a seemingly large percentage of my social media friends travel to the same destination. Each destination will carry on for a couple of years, but they all come and go. I used to wonder about the odds of dozens and dozens of people going to the same location on summer vacation, given that we do have the entire globe to roam. But before long, I found myself wanting to go to these places, and that's when I realized what was going on. When is the last time you or someone you know exerted vast amount of physical and financial efforts towards taking a trip specifically for a photo to share on social media? Social media is the real horror house when it comes to allowing comparison to dictate our lives. Not only do we sit and compare our life to the life of someone else, but we compare it to the pretty picture that person paints. We see Stephanie post pictures on the Golden State Bridge, smiling ear to ear with her boyfriend, captioned, "Another bucket list item checked off." What we don't see is the horrific argument that is going on between the two because Stephanie was too nice to the taxi driver. What we don't see is the $220 they spent of their last $300 to get over there. What we don't see is the line of 150 people behind them screaming at them to hurry up. What we see is a snapshot of the peak of an experience, a peak which lasted about 5 seconds. Stephanie and her boyfriend smile no longer than a second combined after the photo is taken, and having spent all their money on a taxi, prepared to rent a bike and pedal 9 miles back to the private bedroom they share with another couple. All in all, Stephanie has a disastrous trip, and she wouldn't go back to San Francisco if you bought her a first-class plane ticket. You, on the other hand, spent all last summer looking at Stephanie's photos. As jealous as you could be, you were dying to go explore San Francisco and, more importantly, take your picture at the bridge so everyone could see you had gone. You sacrificed countless weekend trips with friends this year to ensure you were able to book a flight this summer. Your idea of Stephanie's trip is totally misconstrued. The version of it you see is the version Stephanie wants you to see. Across all her social media platforms, it looks like she had a once-in-a-lifetime trip. It looks as though she enjoyed herself and had the time of her life from the snapshots that combine to account for 45 seconds of a 5-day, 120-hour trip. And while this misrepresentation may seem harmless at first, it sets you up for disappointment before you even walk out the door. And now the real power of comparison comes into play. How you perceive, interpret, or judge your own experience to San Francisco is by comparing it to your idea of Stephanie's trip. You'll now be extremely disappointed when you see that the taxi ride to the bridge cost you an arm and a leg. You'll also faint when you realize the amazing background in Stephanie's photos rises from behind a line of hundreds of people. None of this would affect you had you not put expectation in place of how you think things will go. And that's the thing. Your expectations come from nowhere other than comparing your trip to Stephanie's and expecting yours to go like hers. Better still, your idea of how her trip went is bogus. She was able to paint the picture of an experience that doesn't even exist, yet you hauled off to California looking to find it. Nonetheless, you go on to wait 2.5 hours to get your photos taken with the beautiful backdrop of the Golden State Bridge. Like Stephanie, you're smiling ear to ear and appear to be having the time of your life. And like Stephanie, the first thing you do is upload the picture across all your social media platforms. You caption the post, "Best day of my life," hit upload, and begin frantically searching for a taxi cab to go change out the sweat-drenched clothes you now walk around in. Although you are disappointed in how your trip is going, and you feel as if you wasted a lot of time and money saving for it, you rest assured in the fact that everyone else will think you're living your best life. Meanwhile, Brooke sits on her couch at home and stumbles across your posts. Like many others she's seen today, it fills her heart with desire. Look how beautiful. She is having the time of her life, and here I am cleaning up after my kids. My life sucks, she says as she wipes her tears away. This will not happen to me again. She goes on to say as she maps out a savings plan that will allow her to book a trip to San Francisco next summer. Hopping onto our Facebook or Instagram news feed to admire everyone else's life wouldn't be so harmful if everyone was honest about how their life was going. But currently, social media isn't used for that. Currently, social media is used to do the exact opposite. Instead of taking photos and videos to capture a life that we are living, we try to live a life that allows more interesting photos and videos. The end result of this is living a life that's dedicated to make it seem any other way than it actually is. The power of comparison is real, and if we can understand the role it plays in our daily lives, we can gain some sense of control over how it influences us. The mind uses comparison to define things we don't already understand, and unfortunately, most of us don't understand ourselves. So in the name of trying to define who we are and how we are doing, we mistakenly look to everyone around us to see how they're doing for our answer. But we've got to stop comparing our lives to the lives of people around us. When asking ourselves questions such as whether we are happy, fulfilled, or successful, we should look to our levels of happiness and success from last week, last month, or last year for the answer. The last place we should look for a comparison to our own life is the false picture painted across everyone's social media platform. Not only do we compare our life to someone else's, but we compare it to the wrong idea of that person's life. We compare it to the life that person wants to be living, not the life they are living.